Alright YouTube, today we're going to take apart this Fender Ultra Chorus amp so we can fix some of the, there's some popping and there's like ground noise. From what I've read on the internet, a lot of that is probably from filter caps and it might even be an input jack. So I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to have to start with these we're going to start with the two screws on the top, on either side. Those two screws right there. And then on the side, there's another screw right there that we got to take out. And then this whole back, this whole piece in the back should slide right out. But yeah, I'm going to show you everything you need to do to see if we can get this thing going. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. Here we go. Phillips screwdriver. So unloosen these screws. Alright, looks like that these, looks like these are 14 millimeter. I don't know if it's supposed to be in millimeter, but it's in millimeter. Oh, they come off. I guess they're only hand tight. They're plastic anyway, so you don't want to, let me get that. Don't want to lose those either. Pull all the knobs off. Okay, so we'll say 11 millimeter for the knobs, 14 millimeter for the input jacks. Alright, yeah, that looks like that's all those. So let's finish taking our screws out. Take a little button, these little washers off too. We don't want to lose those. Anyways, there's a screw down here for your reverb. You want to take that wire and actually unscrew the little clip, because then you have to unplug your reverb tank. Unplug the reverb tank. There should be an in and an out. I don't think they necessarily matter which way they go. Don't lose that screw. Alright, so now we'll take the sides off. We'll see what I'm... Take this side off. See if we can pull this out. That's the inside of your board right here. Those are your filter caps right here, these two big guys right here. We want to reflow the solder on these. We also want to reflow the solder on the back of these, but in order to get all this out, I'm going to have to undo, probably underneath. Yeah, it looks like we need to undo all these screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws we got to unscrew. Alright, so let's go over to the bench and we'll take from there. Alright guys, we're back to our guess we gotta undo these 5 screws. 1. Alright. Let's flip this over. So here's what you got. This. There's a little bar under here. Alright, first things first, let's do this. Before we can move that bar, we actually have to remove the screws out of our board. So we have a screw here, or a screw here. Looks like our other screws are over here. We got one screw right here, and one screw right behind here. And one screw right behind here. Just in case you want to know, this fuse right here, if all of a sudden your amp is not working, I'd probably pull this thing apart and make sure that that fuse is not blown, because if that fuse is blown, you're obviously not going to have any, your amp's obviously not going to work. So let's get back to work here. Start taking our screws out. They're all Phillips. One. So it looks like you got the 2 on the left hand side, 2 on this side. Got 1 here. And 1 over here in this corner. Alright, so now let's see if I'm correct. This whole thing should just kind of lift right out. If I'm not correct, there must be another screw somewhere. Where's the other screw? Ah, there we go. So it's just kind of, there's like a little click. There you go. Alright, so now we can pull, see, that's why I did that, so we can pull all that out. This is going to be a pain, I think. I'm going to try to push that back as good as you can. That way oh, there we go. Alright, good. So there's that piece right there. You need to try to keep that in somewhere in its place. Alright, so now we have our board here. Let's see if we can flip that back this way. That way we can kind of see what we got going on. Right here is, let's look at it underneath. That's your 2 capacitors right there. Trying to find out where they are. So that's right here. These 2, this one here, this one here, this one here, and this one here. We want to reflow that solder on those. So I'm going to use my portable soldering iron. Basically what it is. I'm going to get that nice and hot. So we want to reflow the solder on this one. And basically to reflow the solder, all you got to do, hold this on the, just kind of hold it on the capacitor lead itself, and you'll see it. It just kind of like, it just starts flowing. You'll see it. So let's go like this one. See, it just starts flowing. There you go. Done. You'll see it actually just start loosening. There we go. Okay. Like in the, that one's good. This is just in case you get some solder cracks, or you reflow your solder. No more solder cracks. Okay, so that's that one. Let's do our jacks. Our jack is right. Our 2 jacks are right here. Those are inputs. I want to just reflow the solder on those, make sure that those are still good, that they have good connections. That one's reflowing. Okay, let's turn the soldering iron off. Right there. That is all the places that you need to reflow. Let that cool off. Then we get to put this thing back together. Alright, let's get back to this. So we need to put our board back together now. We need to take this piece of metal here. We already seen that come out. Just kind of line it up back there. I think it's going to sit in those holes. You're going to push this back far enough so you don't catch any of the leads. I'm going to put your leads back through here. Make sure all your little LEDs come through those little squares. There's LEDs on the front. Some of them might be able to just push down with a screwdriver. You got buttons too that need to come through. Buttons and lights. That's what we got. Buttons and lights. There we go. Okay. Let's get a piece of metal. I think it's underneath. It is. Alright. This is going to go like somewhere over here. Just gotta get a whole holes lined up in the back. That looks like how it goes. And before we go real super far, let's put these screws back in here. Gold plastic sleeves. Just so this board doesn't move around too much. I'll put one on the other side just in case. Hopefully you've gotten this far. That doesn't seem like it's going to go in very good. That one went in fine. This one did not. Let's see what we got going on this side. Might be it right there. That's not it. There we go. Basically, just a little tilt on the board. Okay, one on that side. Means this side should go in. Alright, so let's just finish putting in these screws. Well, let's do this. We have 2 screws holding it in so far. This back piece seems to slide back and forth. I'm not sure if that's incorrect. If it's not, it might be upside down. Ah. Just like I figured it was in upside down. If it's in upside down, the holes will not line up. So let's come back down here. You can actually see where it's lining up or whether it doesn't line up. And that's a big heat sink for you. Alrighty. Turn that to a flathead. Tighten them just till they're just snug. Snug is plenty enough. So that's our heat sink. Let's put this back down. We finished putting our screws in. We have 2 more screws to put in. We have one in the back. One in the back over here, and one in the back over on that side. So finish putting our screws in. And we can put it in our amp and see what we got. That one is by far probably the hardest one right there. Use the same thing, you don't want to snug these too tight because they're on plastic post. You don't want to smash or smush the post or mash it. Just want it to just be snug enough so it's, there we go, snug. Alright, so now, if we want, we can put all our knobs and everything back on. Let's get one there. These are metal, so you don't have to worry about stripping those too much. If it's too hard to go on, you know it's cross-threading and you don't want to do that. If it goes on easy, well, you probably got it on correct. Let me get these things. I don't think you're going to need any more than hand tight. So it shouldn't be too much more than what you already did, especially if you just spun them on like I did. I think the hardest part of this is just making sure that all your little switches are in the right spots, and make sure all your LEDs are actually filling up those squares, because if they're not, you're gonna have to take the whole thing apart again. You don't want to do that. So you might as well do it right the first time. Make sure everybody's sticking out. Definitely don't turn on the amp when you have it open. I wouldn't anyways. I put it all back together and then see how it sounds. You'll know if you screw something up. Alright. Put our knobs back on. Like I said, there's a flat spot, so it's not like you can mess up your knobs too much. Alright, let's put this thing back in and see what we get. Alright, we're back with our cabinet. And we're gonna very carefully slide this back into here. I think you have to go pretty straight. If you don't go straight, you're gonna have some issues. Almost got it. Tilt it in and bring it up where you need it. That way it works a lot better. Alright, good. So now everybody learned how to do that. Alright, let's find out. Screw in your screws. Don't forget the ones in the sides. Okay, let's put our, turn that around a little. I'll show you what this is. You need your reverb cable. Goes into here, goes right in here. We actually have a little spot. Actually a little spot right here. Your reverb cable gets screwed to. Reverb tank is down here. Find the RCA jacks. One goes in one side. One can go into this side. It's in. Left and right speakers. You have the two speakers wired up the same. Black goes to positive or black goes to negative. As long as you have them the same, the speakers won't be out of phase. If they're out of phase, your amp's going to sound really, really funky. So let's go ahead and try it out. See what we get. A lot better. Holy crap.